The Creator's Insight, a lecture by Neville Goddard, October 27, 1969. Prepare yourself for an enlightening journey into both the practical and the mystical. This evening, we venture into a deeper comprehension of the unseen God. Ever ponder the possibility of understanding the unseen through creation itself? Consider for a moment the idea that every element and detail around you serves as a gateway to discerning the Creator. You are encouraged to introspect and recall instances where your beliefs and dreams have materialized into your current reality. Is it possible that your remarkable imagination is a reflection of the divine? How often do we overlook our imagination as a divine fragment within us? Do we search for our destiny externally when the true connection lies within? This exploration will prompt you to reevaluate your beliefs and accept that your imagination is a potent creative force, an extension of God Himself. Do not surrender your creative essence to beings or objects devoid of life. Acknowledge your divine image and your capacity to craft and mold reality. Anticipate an enlightening experience that will broaden your perspective and elevate your awareness. Be receptive to unlocking how your imagination holds the key to a purposeful and fulfilling life. Before proceeding, I invite you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. Subscribing grants access to unique content, the latest updates, and abundant inspiration. Also, kindly like this video, it aids in extending our reach. Your support enables our channel to continue illuminating others' lives as it has yours. We are deeply grateful to all of you. Tonight, we delve into a session that is both immensely practical and spiritual. Our discussion centers on the Creator. Reflecting on Paul's epistle to the Romans, he asserts, the invisible attributes of God are perceived through His creations. This urges humanity to observe creation to unveil the invisible God. Contemplate this, recall when you had nothing but a belief in what now exists in your life. Such recollections reveal that the Creator is indeed your own wondrous imagination. This could very well be the divine presence. Paul further comments, though they were aware of God, they failed to honor Him as such, not making the connection between the visible and their creative acts. Do you revere your imagination as divine, or do you attribute your successes or failures to external entities, thereby relinquishing the divine truth for falsehood and adoring the creation over the Creator? Instead, you should link your external reality to your imaginative endeavors. Failing to acknowledge God as the cause of your external world is to not honor your imagination as divine. Paul's letter to the Romans, specifically verses 20 to 25 of the first chapter, presents a profound revelation. Take a moment to consider how your surroundings connect to an active imagination. Then, honor your imagination as the divine. It's not enough to recognize that your thoughts shape your reality. Embrace these thoughts as divine actions. Don't hand over your creative power to another human, attributing to them the reason for your fortunes or misfortunes. Humans are God's image, the creation, not to be confused with your imagination, the Creator. The Bible states, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Here, the emphasis is on creation's interior, for heaven is said to be within, with God in His heaven, creating the external earth. How did God manifest the earth externally when He resides internally? Through movement. The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, illustrating that movement is the precursor to creation, perceptible only against a static backdrop. What steps would you take to transition from your current state to your desired one? Friends might notice a change, and your world would seem altered. Define your desire clearly, then move in your imagination. How to ascertain this movement? Mentally survey your surroundings for any changes. Even while seated here in the Iman's Club in Los Angeles, you could imaginatively transport yourself to Union Square in San Francisco, picturing the surroundings vividly. This act of imagination, thinking of Los Angeles as distant, confirms your mental relocation. A divided mind yields nothing, as James articulates, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. To actualize a desire, like being in San Francisco, one must fully inhabit that reality in the imagination. This imaginative act, perceived as movement, is essential to manifestation. Initially, God created both the inner and outer realms, then through movement, brought creation into existence. Everything resides within you, awaiting manifestation through this simple yet profound technique. Desiring a visit to Barbados from New York, I embraced Barbados in my imagination, considering New York distant. Unexpectedly, my brother sent a letter and funds, facilitating my travel. Without any outward request, simply by immersing myself in the reality of being in Barbados, my brother was inspired to support my visit. It had been 12 years, and my presence was needed to complete the family circle. Herein lies the testament to the creative power, affirming all is made by God, with nothing made without Him. In this lecture, I aim to shed light on a profound realization: the divine essence of our human imagination is synonymous with God. It's easy to mistakenly attribute our successes and journeys to external figures or circumstances, like crediting a family member for a fortunate occurrence or believing that a friend's gesture was the pivotal point. Paul, through his writings, prompts us to reflect: upon recognizing the divine within, will we uphold its sanctity, or will we diminish its significance by attributing our achievements to mere mortals? Every experience of ours is birthed in the womb of our imagination. I assure you, the life you desire is within your reach, provided your yearning is authentic and you persistently embrace this new identity without wavering back to your former self. Wavering dilutes your intent, rendering your aspirations fruitless, as James warns against the instability of a double-minded individual. Envisioning success in your ventures is attainable regardless of your current financial dilemmas. By steadfastly holding on to the vision of success, failure becomes an impossibility. This principle is the foundation upon which all existence is built. Take this message to heart. The God referenced in Holy Scriptures resides within us as our magnificent human imagination. When you affirm "I am," you are invoking the power of God. By merely altering your mindset, without seeking external approval, you can transition to your desired state. This shift must become your constant state of being, influencing both your conscious and subconscious moments, for your everyday reality mirrors this inner alignment. The visible world, including our personal creations, offers a clear reflection of the invisible forces at work, revealing our own contributions to our reality. By not recognizing our imaginative power as the true source, we inadvertently exchange the divine truth for a fallacy, crediting mere mortals for what is essentially a manifestation of our divine nature. If you find yourself unexpectedly wealthy, resist the urge to credit the apparent source. Your prior assumption of wealth merely found a channel through an individual who played a role in the unfolding of your vision. My brother Victor's story is a testament to this. His unwavering focus on wealth attracted opportunities, emphasizing that the cause of his fortune was not external. The skepticism of others does not diminish this truth. Forgetting your divine nature upon turning away from your reflection leads to unfulfilled aspirations. The transient desires of a double-minded person bear no fruit. This law is not a superficial magic trick, it requires a commitment to shed your current self for the desired one. Imagining a congratulatory scenario from a friend not only signifies the fulfillment of your desire but sets it into motion. Paul's teachings in Romans 4 verse 17, that God manifests the invisible into the visible through movement, illustrate the power of our imaginative acts to transform our reality. Persisting in your assumed identity, despite sensory contradictions, will inevitably manifest it into your life. A friend's journey from a humble beginning to owning a thriving restaurant worth over $100,000, solely based on faith in this principle, exemplifies its veracity. His fluctuating remembrance and application of this truth underscores the importance of steadfast belief in the power of imagination to shape our reality. The key to his achievements was not external factors, but rather his own imagination. When his progress began to falter, he remembered the fundamental law. He recognized that the adversities he faced were the manifestations of his own negative thoughts. By altering his mindset, he opened the door to an extraordinary opportunity for growth. I assert that anything is achievable for those who understand their true identity. The vast majority do not recognize the divine nature of their imagination. Were they to do so, they would revere it as a manifestation of God. Those who truly comprehend the divine nature know that envisioning a certain state can catalyze events and shape their reality. Consider the story reported recently about a woman who, inundated by news of violence on television, in newspapers, and on the radio, became engulfed in fear. For 2 months, she slept with a knife beneath her pillow, prepared to defend herself if needed. One evening, she perceived a noise in her kitchen and, upon investigation, was confronted by a tall, blonde individual who threatened her with a knife. As she faced this intruder, all her fears, previously only imagined, surged to the forefront of her thoughts. She defended herself with the knife she had kept for protection, ultimately saving herself. Her experience underscores that nothing in this world occurs by mere chance, it is governed by laws, and even the most appalling events must first be conceived in the imagination. Paul elucidates that the divine can be observed in the phenomena around us. Since the dawn of creation, the unseen aspects of God are visible through His creations. The scenario this woman found herself in was of her own making. Could this act have been divine? Indeed, for the divine is stated, "I am responsible for life and death, for healing and harm. No one can escape my influence." This declaration comes not from an external deity, but from the imagination, the sole divine presence. It is she who says, "I am." Having discovered this divine within, it becomes essential to honor it as such, especially when the outcomes of our imaginings materialize. At present, you might conceive of God as a celestial being, detached from your imagination. You acknowledge the capacity for negativity within, yet struggle to associate these acts with the divine. However, I maintain that your imagination, your divine essence, is capable of both creation and destruction. Inquire of the woman who acted in self-defense, and she will assert, "I am as the source of her actions." And the aggressor? He, too, was compelled by his own imaginings, choosing a knife over a gun, fully aware of the potential consequences of his actions. Thus, the events that unfold in our lives are directed by the divine within us, for there is but one God. Desires, when genuinely harbored and nurtured within, can manifest outwardly, though often it requires inward shifts rather than external efforts. Envisioning oneself in the realized state of desire is a mental journey, all taking place within the imagination. Should the desire be heartfelt, remaining steadfast in that mental state will bring it into reality. Yet, the transition from an invisible to a visible state necessitates movement, an action accessible to all through the divine faculty of imagination. With this understanding, heed my advice, recognize the Creator within and honor it. Do not fall into the folly of those who knew of this divine power but failed to revere it, choosing instead to idolize the transient. When you master your imaginings, nothing remains out of reach. Discovering and valuing this divine aspect alters your priorities, from worshiping material to venerating the source of all creation. There is profound joy in visualizing success for others and witnessing its realization, a testament to the divine operation within. Expressing gratitude to this internal divinity is an act of worship. When affirmations from others align with your visualizations, direct your deepest thanks to the divine, for in recognizing this power, you acknowledge a force that never falters. Imagination does not demand exertion, let it flow naturally, with the assurance of its truth and realization. This practice transcends moral and ethical considerations, resting solely on your faith in the divine to manifest your visions. Desiring an outcome does not hinge on qualifications but on the sincerity of the request. Disregard the mechanics of manifestation, simply embody the state of fulfillment. Such unwavering belief ensures that your aspirations, personal or professional, materialize as envisioned, demonstrating the omnipotence of your divine imagination. I personally validated this truth through an experience with my sister, proving that distance is inconsequential in the realm of imagination. Therefore, embrace the conviction that all is achievable with the divine, for you and God are one. Embrace this knowledge. Creation necessitates internal movement towards the desired state. Only through this inward shift can external realities transform. Persistence in this new state, in relation to others, becomes the measure of change. Thus, let the changes in your relations serve as confirmation of your transition. Engage in this mental exercise, and trust in the unseen reality, for its manifestation is inevitable. Now, let us enter a moment of reflection.